Is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Coffee with Dudes. We got a good one for you today. So we are going to go through the current events in the industry, health and fitness, and kind of give our take. And I think we're going to learn a few things today as well. Because I don't know about you, Matt. I'm not very up to date on the current events in the industry right now.
Me neither, man. Like just hearing some of the ones that we were talking about really quickly before we hopped on here, it was just like I couldn't tell you what a top five current event was, Like I mean, I have my hunch, but after going over those couple that we talked about, like let's dive into it, dude. I'm excited.
Yeah, let's do it. And one of the top ones here, it says rising gym foot traffic, especially in budget affordable options. So gym visits are up in the US by about 3.5% in the first half of 2025 compared to the same period in 2024. It says high value, low price gyms are leading this growth, followed by mid price gyms. This suggests consumers are leaning towards less expensive, no frills options. What
Mhm.
are your thoughts on this?
Well, I think like immediately Planet Fitness, a couple of these places come to mind, right? And it's like two things immediately. One is like, yes, they're proving their business model that it actually works, right? They're getting the people to purchase the low ticket models. My next question immediately is like, well, what's the retention rate or what's the actual attendance rate of people, right? Like, just because the business model works, it's like, yeah, they created it to work as such. We're going to target the people that don't show up to the gym but have this low ticket Netflix kind of model that where it's kind of annoying but not expensive enough to feel it, hit the bank account every month. And dude, they're cashing in on it. And I know from a business standpoint, I'm just curious to see like, okay, with those models, if the trend is going that way, like what's the attendance look like? That's what I think of first.
Yeah. No, I was thinking when you said that, I was thinking about the same thing. It doesn't talk about. It just says that gym visits are up in the U.S. Who that could mean that people are going to the gym more often, which hopefully that's what it means.
Oh,
But it
yeah,
could also mean that gym memberships are being bought more
right.
often.
Yeah,
What
yeah,
I would assume is probably what's going on. And like
yeah.
you said, a lot of these really low budget gyms, they can be really good. Like I go to EOS
Oh,
and
yeah.
I spend $30 a month on my gym membership. And it's actually like their most expensive gym membership they have. They have one that's like $10 a month and they have one that's $20 a month. The $30 a month one gives you access to like the sauna and their recovery area that has like cryotherapy and stuff. And honestly, I probably should downgrade it because I haven't used any of that shit since I've been.
Really?
Yeah, yeah,
That's crazy. They offer that for $30 a month. You go to
yeah.
like some of the recovery places around here, that just specialize in that. They're not even gyms, but they specialize in the recovery stuff. And they have the Normatex and the guns, and you can get like supplemental drip, and like you can get all these, say, red light therapy, cryotherapy. Dude, those memberships for like punch cards and passes and stuff are super expensive.
Yeah.
We're talking hundreds, thousands of dollars. So like you're getting access to some of that stuff for $30 a month is kind of crazy.
And I don't even know I haven't been in the area yet. Like I
Oh yeah.
the gym worked out at the gym a ton of times. And I like there's a recovery like room and you have to like scan your membership so they know you have the correct membership to get in
Yeah.
there. I
Yeah.
haven't even gone in the room yet. And I've
You
been there
have it. You just haven't used it.
I no, I haven't gone in there, even like looked to see what's in there.
But you
I
have the correct
know.
membership, right? Like you have the
Yeah,
one to access it.
I
Yeah.
do. I should go. That made me think. I should go check it out next time I'm in there
Yeah.
because and that's just me though. Like I don't need the big. Like I like to have a sauna. I do like to go into the sauna from time to time, but I don't need the whole bells and
Yeah. Yeah.
whistles, like
Yeah.
all that. Just give me some good, nice equipment.
Yep.
Give me enough equipment in the gym so that I can have access to the stuff when I want to use it
Yep.
and I'm good. But I think this is good. Like, hopefully, this actually means that people are working out a little bit more. I know it does seem like there is like a health movement in some respects going on.
Yeah.
There's more health, like there's more of these fast food joints that are more health focused popping up in different parts of the area than ever before. I mean,
Hmm.
I remember when we were kids, it was just really the McDonald's, the Burger King, the Wendy's. There wasn't really a healthier fast food option, and now they have all these like crisp and green, these
Mm.
green places, these even like these like smoothie, like healthy smoothie places that are around. Like there's a lot of different stuff that's trending in that direction. So maybe people are moving there as well, and like choosing to buy a membership that, maybe they're not going tons, but they're going enough to just spend $10-15 a month on a membership.
Yeah, I hope that's what it is, and my hunch is that there's a certain crowd. I'm sure the numbers that they're talking about, a certain percentage of those are actually including attendance, I would hope. And I think it's just going that way in general too, because you and I both sold like high ticket premium coaching too, so it was like one of those things where I felt the shift going to more people wanted like lower ticket tiered stuff, and they just didn't want to pay as much for something that can be deemed as a commodity, right? Like just health. And so it's like you and I see it as extremely important, but looking at just where the wave is going in the health industry, it's kind of just like, yeah, that lower tiered kind of like mid ticket, is what people are wanting to buy right now. They're not wanting to dump a ton of money on their health, like for financially high ticket prices, so instead of spending thousands of dollars, they'd rather just be like, you know, 50, 70, a couple $100 here or there, and like be set and just be like, let me see if I could just show up and be consistent to this. And I think people are still spending the money, but I definitely felt the pivot in the industry of people wanting to spend money on themselves in health and fitness a lot less. They
Yeah.
wanted like the lower slash mid tier ticket stuff.
Yeah. I mean, some of that stuff can get up there in price pretty quickly. And then on top of that, you're eating, you got gym membership, like all
Mm-hmm.
of these things can add up. And then it's
Mm-hmm.
like, where does the extra money come from to pay for some of this stuff when it
Right.
comes to some folks? Well, let's go to the next one here. So the next one talks about technology everywhere. So wearables, apps, AI, and remote training. So just to read what the source, so multiple sources are reporting that technology remains a primary force reshaping fitness. So wearable tech is the number one trend according to ACSM, which is, I don't know what that is. For 2025, mobile exercise apps are rising fast in both downloads and user expectations. Remote personal training is growing. People want workouts and coaching. They can access this from wherever, often with more flexibility, exactly what we were just talking about. And then also new innovations like smart sportswear with sensors and AI feedback are being developed to help monitor form, injury risk, etc. I didn't realize that one. That is
Yeah, I
cool.
didn't either. I remember talking to one of my old clients a while ago. He was a big like tech guy in the Bay Area, launched a couple successful startups, sold them, and then retired like fairly young. Came back to one of the ones that he sold just to help them out because he got bored.
Hmm.
And they reached out to him, and after he had ended up selling it to him, they were struggling a little bit. So he was like helping them get back on their feet again. And I remember he reached out to me and was like, "Hey, is there a software out there right now that like you can put the correct movements in? Like, say you film the movement and then a client performs the movement, but you set the standard of what it's supposed to look like. And when they film it, we can have it understand and know what it's supposed to look like. And then when one part's off, it can let them know and coach them in real time and give them feedback." And I was like, this was probably like, I don't know, maybe 5 to 7 years ago. I don't think they had it at that point, but he was talking about it. And I was like, yeah, man, that'd be super cool. He's like, I know how to do the tech side of it. He's like, I could figure out how to do that part. That part's the easy. He's like, I just need to know what's right and wrong from a movement standard perspective. And then we were talking about like giving like specific exercises and mobility stuff, like based on where they were deficient at in their movement or where their faults were at. But I think that technology's out now. I think people
Yeah.
can film themselves and get like real time feedback. But at the time, I don't think it was.
And that's cool. Like this, I dove a little deeper into this, and it says this work presents a wearable smart sportswear system that integrates screen printed graphene based strain sensors with compact electronics for wireless data transfer and deep learning framework for real time classification of exercise execution quality. That is
Hmm.
a lot of big words.
Yeah. Sounds like you put on a shirt with like some electrodes on it or something, and it like, you know,
A lot of
sees
big
your
words.
movement.
Yeah, that's cool because I mean, you think about it just like that. I mean, a lot of it talks about injury risk, right? This
Yeah.
Injuries are some of the big things, and so especially like early on in somebody's progression of getting into working out and exercises, a huge thing can be making sure that form is nailed down. But also, like when your form's not right, you're not hitting the right muscles in your exercises. You're not going to get the most out of all of that too. And so I could see this not only being huge for folks that are, maybe newer to working out or like trying to get in better shape, but also it's going to be huge, I'm sure, for athletics
Yeah, definitely.
as well.
Definitely. I also have been personally looking at like the different types of watches out there right now.
Yeah.
Like, man, I'm a big watch guy. I like wearing a watch, and I haven't had one in years. And I just started these last couple weeks reintroducing some more metabolic conditioning, more machine work. I've been running a little bit more, and so I'm like, I want to do more heart rate zone training, and like I want to be able to monitor that and program that accordingly. So whether it's for me or my clients, and get back into that, I like geeking out on the programming stuff. So I'm like looking at the different wearables and stuff now, and like what's out there is kind of crazy, dude. Like there's so many cool options. Of course, like from what I've been seeing, you could do the popular ones like Apple Watches. You could do, but I've also been seeing like Garmin and Coros are the two that are like leading the pack as far as like reviews and their capabilities, and some of the stuff that these watches can do is kind of insane, dude. It's
Yeah.
really really cool. They're pricey. They get up there depending on what model you want and stuff, but like the capabilities is pretty sweet. Definitely does way more than I would need it to do, but knowing that it has some of those features is pretty damn cool.
Yeah. And they're starting to get a lot more accurate with a lot of it too.
Mm-hmm.
Seems
Yeah.
like it's kind of closing the gap on, some of them before were like 100% off potentially. It's like
Oh
they're
yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
so far off, and it seems like just with the technology moving in that direction that they're really closing the gap on accuracy as
Yeah.
well,
Yeah.
which is huge because you really, I know when I talked about this before on the podcast, but I was wearing a Whoop band for like a few years at a certain
Yeah.
point, mostly for sleep, but it would tell you calorie
Yeah.
expenditure. And I was like, okay, if that calorie, I was tracking my calories at the time. And so it's like, oh, calorie expenditure would be 3,300 calories. And I'm like, well, my maintenance is 4,000. So like, if that's,
Yeah.
I should be like gaining a pretty good amount of weight. Right.
Right.
So like, it's like way off there, but I started to get the idea at a certain point, it was still off, but I understood where it was. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, like 3,000 is kind of like that's when I'm at maintenance. When I'm like 3,300, it's a more of a higher expenditure day. If I'm a little bit less, it's a lower expenditure day. And I kind of would figure that out.
Yeah.
But how maybe people don't have to do that as much if stuff's a little bit more accurate, which is nice because a lot of people rely really heavily on those numbers. And they're
Yeah.
like, oh, I burned this many calories. And it's like, you probably burned a third of those calories. Like
Yeah.
it's
If that.
way overestimating it. And
Yeah.
so something to
Have you
watch.
seen they're also doing like the apps that are coming out. I've been seeing and getting like tagged in these things is like the apps where you can scan your food and then it shows your macros like as soon as you take a picture of the plate.
Oh, yes, 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 yes.
Like I wonder how accurate those are too, right? That's tough to tell. Like that's really hard.
I've
Mm.
seen people do videos on them, and then and they've done certain things where it's like right on the money, but then like it's easy to trick it. I think it's like
Oh, for sure.
there's certain things, and it's like, oh, it'll think that this food is this food, and then all of a sudden the calories are 500 more than it should be.
Yeah, yeah,
And so
yeah,
you got to be careful with those too. That's I'm sure they'll continue to get better with it, but at
yeah.
least now, from what I've seen, it's not extremely accurate. But it's
Correct.
going to be better than nothing, right? It's at the end of
Yeah,
the
yeah.
day, whatever you want to do.
I mean, if anything, the bare minimum, it creates awareness around what you're consuming, right? Like it creates
Exactly.
that piece to it. I think it's just going to have to evolve over time because I'm thinking in my head like, you know, oils and sauces and, seasonings and things like that. Like how is it taking into consideration that stuff, like I don't
Yeah.
know. But that can be a lot of calories right there.
Yeah. But here, let's do the last one here. Let's kind of wrap it up. The last one I'm seeing on this list. It says demographic changes and new trends in what people value in fitness. And so some key demographic and behavioral shifts. It's saying, number one, older adults 50 plus are more engaged and fitness offerings are adapting to be more accessible and functional. Number 2 says Millennial and Gen Z are driving demand for convenience, community, authenticity, digital/virtual options. And then the last one says functional fitness, movements useful in daily life, mobility, joint health, low impact workouts are gaining ground. A lot of good stuff there.
Yeah. Different age groups too, right? Like, which is really
Yeah.
cool. I like the 50 plus. I would agree with that. I think there's becoming more and more awareness around it. Not that that means that everybody's doing it, but like, I think there's definitely a shift. I feel like there's a shift going on in the right direction. Like there's like my clients that I have here in person that I'm coaching today, like they're great, man. They're close to, one of them's in their 70s, right? And the other one's in their 60s. And so it's like these guys chirp and, compete with each other in the session. It's super fun, man. And like one of them joined after the other one had been coming consistently for years, but you always hear him say, like, I've been doing this for, he's going on like maybe 4 or 5 years now. And like the other guy's a lot newer, but he's inspired by the guy that's been coming consistently, man. And they see and they feel their ability to improve their lives when they're doing it consistently. Like one of them, for example, had the ability to brace and break his fall when he was out in public, right? Like he tripped, fell. A lot of times for some elderly people, like that's it for him,
Yeah.
and he's first came to me, wasn't able to do a single push-up. Now we knock out sets of 12 to 15. Like he has the ability to control and catch his own body when an incident like that came up. And that's just one example, but it's really cool to see that older crowd catching on to be like, man, yes, unfortunately I should have started sooner, but let's just make that like the inevitable, okay, can't change that. What do we do now? They're like, I'm glad I've started. I'm glad I've engaged. I'm glad I'm consistent
Yeah.
now. And they keep showing up. They keep staying consistent. It keeps them hungrier. So that older crowd's like really cool to see, man, because I would agree with that more and more people are catching on, which is awesome.
Yeah, no, that is great. And the unfortunate part about that a lot of times is I think it takes for a lot of folks like an accident or something
Yeah. Yep.
to spark getting into it. When a lot of times it's like, oh, people stop working and they stop moving and they like, and then like they all of a sudden it takes like a fall or something to be like, oh shit, like I need to,
Yeah.
even just walking. And so as
Yep.
simple as like just walking can be a huge thing. And I go into the home with a lot of different people, wide range, younger folks all the way up to older folks. And it's cool to see, sometimes you see these older folks that are like, so into their like workouts and so into their movement, and it shows, right? You can't tell that they're as old as they actually are, right? It's like maybe a 75-year-old looks like 60 or 65.
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
I've been continuing to move. And so that is a huge thing there. And then we kind of already talked about like millennials, then Gen Z, like convenience, community, authenticity, digital, virtual. And so one thing that I kind of want to end on is just like that functional stuff, right? Like we talked a little bit about it, but mobility, joint health, like low impact stuff. It's nice to see that gaining traction too, because it is a huge thing. Like having that flexibility and mobility is a huge thing for longevity. And that's something like, it's a nice reminder for me. I need to do a little bit more of that stuff. I haven't done as much recently as I used to.
Same. You notice you feel amazing when you do it, especially you do it consistently. Throw some mobility work in, post workout, maybe at night before you go to bed. That's one of the things that I like to do. And it's like, man, I can feel when I'm doing it consistently. My body feels great, feels pliable, feels mobile, uh, feels open, feels free. And then when I'm not, usually things are hurting, right? Like it's tight, it's uncomfortable, I'm
Yeah.
stiff. It's like bad place to be in, man. And you think about like the routines that we go in a day-to-day basis, a lot of sitting, like, just going about day-to-day life. And we're further facilitating some of these stiff patterns by not doing anything. So a little bit of stretching or moving and mobility and staying functional and continuing to strength, all that stuff goes so far, even though it can be done in little chunks at a time. I think people overwhelm themselves. Little digestible chunks, I think, is the recipe, man, for
Yeah.
success.
I couldn't agree more. Well, this has been fun. We'll definitely be doing more of these kind of podcasts going forward, just talking about the current landscape of the health and fitness industry. If you enjoyed this one, make sure, if you aren't subscribed yet, subscribe, toss us a like if you liked it so that we know to do more stuff like this. Otherwise, we really hope that you guys have a great rest of the day. We'll be talking to you soon.